Hey there, Shalligators. I wanted to offer you one more video from this year's Evil Week course, The Ruthless Art of Social Climbing. Now, in this video, I'm dismantling some of the mental roadblocks that get in our way and keep us from really trying to be in a higher echelon and around better, more well-connected, more elite people. So these roadblocks are, I don't live in the right place, and I don't have the money to run in these circles. Girl, I've been in both situations and I can tell you exactly how to dismantle it. Plus, in the full Evil Week course, I'm telling you how to dismantle other mental and emotional roadblocks, from I'm an introvert to the people in my life are going to judge me. I don't have a wing woman to do this with. I don't know what to do. I've got you. Plus, I'm going to tell you how to dress, how to physically behave, how to act at a party, the questions to ask to ingratiate yourself with the right crowd and make it look, most importantly, effortless. There's plenty of pep talks, plus plenty of actionable advice to get you out of this, I'm sorry, loser group that you're in, or maybe you're not in any group. Maybe you just need to make friends in general. I've got you. So whether you're looking for a high value man, some amazing friends, or both, I can tell you how to do it, because I do it. I wasn't born into the life I live, and let me tell you something, the life I live is pretty incredible. I've taught myself how to do that, and now I'm passing it on to you. So go ahead to the Shallon Entourage. We're gonna connect with hundreds of other women who are also trying to level up and be better and are ready to be best friends with you. And you can binge the full course there. And if you want to get together in real life, join me in New York City on 11/11 for Evil Meet. It's our very first Evil Week themed meetup. I can't wait. I'm going to be answering your questions in real time and just connecting all of you girls together. And if you want to get a little bit more info about Evil Week or just talk about social climbing in general, come to Evil Zoom. I probably could have come up with a better name for that. Evil Zoom on Halloween, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Click the link down below. It's free and you get to submit a question. And if you want to connect with me in a more elite, elegant, glamorous, unforgettable way, sweetheart, come to St. Bart's. I'm launching my St. Bart's trip for February 2025, I think today or tomorrow, and the only way to get access is via email. So click down below, enter your email, no spam, and get all the information sent straight to your inbox. Hurry up, this trip will sell out. It's only 8 spots, my most intimate and elite VIP trip ever. Because sweetheart, you deserve it. You also deserve the info I'm about to tell you. Binge the rest in the Shallon Entourage, and happy climbing, Shalligators. Welcome back. I was going to do this video at the end of the course, but the more I thought about it and the more I got into filming this course, I thought, you know what? We need to address these excuses and these obstacles and these impediments head on right up front, because you don't want to get through this whole course while not really having your head in the game and always having this little voice in the background saying, you can't do this. This is never going to work. You're too this, you're not enough that. Girl, we're going to get all of that out of the way so that as you move through this course, you are already in the exact right headspace. And the videos after this are going to do a deep dive into that mindset that's going to set you up for success in terms of social ascension, strategic ruthlessness, and bettering your life. So let's dive right in. When I asked you, what is the biggest obstacle you have to meeting high quality people, high quality men, the number one answer was where you live. I get this. I get it. I get it. I live in Montana. After 15 years in New York, I moved to a small town in the middle of nowhere. I understand what you mean. And I'm glad that I did that, because I think it's given me some clarity into what you guys go through when you live in a small town. It's not like a Hallmark movie where, you know, it's just everybody's wonderful and down home and you fall in love with the local vet. No, sometimes it's just small-minded people in a small-minded town. But listen, it comes down to what is it that you're looking for? And I'm going to take you through all of these options in this video. What are you looking for? Do you actually like where you live overall? There's maybe a job you like, your family's nearby, something like that. You just don't have the right people that you're locked into and connected with. Okay. In that case, you are in the right town. There are elites, and I define this word. It's very important we define this term. When I say elites, it's not necessarily about how much money you make. It's about your thought process. Are these people expansive? Are they broadening your horizons? Are they making you feel truly seen and understood as an alpha female? Or are they overall keeping you small? The rich kids in town could be keeping you small. And the people who are like, nurses and teachers could be way more expansive. It's not always about the bottom line and the net worth, but it doesn't hurt to be aligned with the rich people. Okay? So I want you to think of it in those terms. Elite. So when we think of elitism that way, you're absolutely in the right town. There are elites everywhere. Almost everywhere. Okay? Is there a university in your town? Spend more time there. Is there a charity scene? Let me tell you, in almost every town in the world, there is some sort of charity scene. Like if you live in any sort of vague understanding of a city, there are galas, there's society events, there's fundraisers. Those are the kind of people you want to get linked up with. Now, post-COVID, when tech companies have moved to smaller towns and workers are remote and they've gotten out of the city, you have an influx of the intelligentsia that prior to 2020 maybe wasn't the case. There is more eliteness where you are than you're thinking. There is. And this is good because you can use these people as a way to practice. I want you to become the biggest fish in your small pond, the absolute biggest player on the scene. And, maybe you will end up moving, but that's okay. In the meantime, you're going to use these people for what they're good for, which just might be nothing more than practice. So that if you are preparing to move to New York or LA or Dallas or London in 2 years, by the time you get there, you're going to hit the ground running. You're going to know how to move in the right circles. You're going to have your head right. You're going to have those social skills already topped up. It won't be difficult for you. And again, maybe you like where you live and just getting connected to the right clique in your town is all you need. You don't have to move to Dallas or London. You're totally fine where you are. Big cities are great if you have a specific goal or if you have wanderlust or you're young. They're not for everyone and they don't have to be. However, you might be saying, Shallon, that's great. I actually do know the people in this town. I grew up here. I live in a small village. This is the place I was born and raised. I know it inside and out. If there is an elite group, it's like 2 people or they're not my vibe. This is not a place where I'm going to meet the right kind of people. Then you need to move. I don't say this lightly. I don't say this casually. I just move. It's a big deal. I picked up and left Southern California, where I lived my whole life. Right after graduation, I moved to New York City. Do you know how many people I knew there? 0. I knew no one. And in 9 months, I had a book deal with Random House, and I was working at Condé Nast. I understand, sweetheart. I understand. In 2020, I picked up from New York and moved to Montana, where I knew no one. I've got a thriving life there. I've also got a worker outside our windows. Sorry, we've got a little guest here for Evil Week. Hopefully he's listening and absorbing the lessons. Don't date men who work on scaffolding. Date the men who own the company and employ the men who work on the scaffolding. You can do something else with those men. You can climb on through this bedroom window and we'll see what happens. But oh, it is Evil Week. It's not Slut Week. But let's break this down. I am not telling you to move without understanding exactly how scary it is. Sister, I get it. But again, through this course, you're going to learn how to make friends. If you're in the Shallon Entourage, you know you have this slush fund of friends here for you to bridge the gap from when you get to someplace new to when you get your own social scene IRL established. We're here for you. But we need to dismantle why you are in this place. Your family is usually the big one. I grew up here. My family's here. It's a big deal to leave. Whose life is this? Girl, it's yours. I know, but my family sacrificed so much. Okay. Even more of a reason for you to not only feel like you have the right, but the obligation to seek your fortune in this world. You want to do right by your parents? You level up. If your parents are immigrants and they sacrificed everything and they came here with $10 in their pocket and they drove cabs and cleaned hospital rooms, they need you to do this, not stay where you're at. And you know what? They might not be telling you that. They might want to keep you close and they might have an idea for your life. Listen, it isn't their life. They had the chance to make their own decisions, whether they did or they didn't. That's up to them. You have the right to make the decisions you want for your life. And again, I'm not saying this lightly. I have I don't have kids. That was not part of my family's plan for me. Of course they expected me to have children. I mean, who doesn't expect to become a grandparent? But that was not my plan for my life. They didn't want me to move to New York City and leave them behind for the better part of 2 decades. But my life plan was different. And as much as I hated to see the tears in their eyes every time I got on that plane to go back home, the joy on their face when I said things like, I got another book deal, I signed a deal for a TV show, I got promoted, I'm so happy, I'm getting married, I made 2 new friends, I'm off to Ibiza. The joy on their face, knowing that I was living authentic, expansive, it made the pain bearable for them. And you know what, girl? Here's where the evil comes in. If they can't be happy for you, fuck them. With respect, I know you love your family, I love mine too, but we all gotta say that at some point, fuck them. This is my life. This is my life. And I only get one of it. And every day is a gift. And I'm gonna make the most of it. The best thing you can do for your family is to level up, is to make more money, to have an advantageous marriage, and listen, to be well connected. I know that I can go to many, many, many regions in this world, and there are people within my network who have my back. I know well-armed billionaires in Latin America. I know counts and barons in Europe. I know high-level people in banking all over London. I know everyone in New York City and Los Angeles. I am well connected. The other day when I was in Rome, I was at dinner at this private members club. You could literally have to be royalty to attend it. And I sat next to my host, had another guest. This woman, she pioneered a whole new branch of breast cancer treatment. She's an oncologist. Beautiful. Oh my God, her ring. And her husband owned, what did he own? The Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, like something crazy. And I filed that away. I thought, you know what? If anyone in my family gets cancer, I'm calling Giovanni. He's connecting me with her. And I might get a little higher up on a wait list. I might get an appointment that someone else might have to wait a year for. That is a connection. That to me was worth the flight. That was worth the hotel. That was worth all of it. You just never know. So protecting your family and honoring your family doesn't always mean you stay at home. And let's just look at the word family. Girl, at some point you have to accept that family isn't always in the rear view. Family is what you create. Your family is a child you might not have yet. It's a husband you might not be married to yet. Yes, you owe this family something, but what do you owe the future? Don't you owe your future children access to the best schools and the best opportunities? Don't you want to marry a man who's going to appreciate your intellect instead of some small town asshole who just wants you barefoot and pregnant? How is that honoring your family sacrifices? I know you think of your family in your small town as safety. It isn't. Isolation is not safety, okay? Movement is life. Connection is life. Connection is safety. That is longevity. I feel safe when I travel because I know so many people and I speak other languages. I've diversified myself so that I can blend in whatever group you drop me into. Part of the reason I've worked so hard to be charming and persuasive is from safety. I grew up traveling to extremely sketchy places. I've been kidnapped. We've had some very sketchy encounters in Egypt, all over the world. And I got the memo that charm will take me very far. So if you're worried about leaving your family, be more worried about staying. Be more worried about just being another link in a chain generationally. Not the generation who breaks a curse, who ascends to a new level, the first millionaire in your family. No, that's not going to be you. You're going to eat at Applebee's and you're going to get your coffee at the gas station every morning, and that's your life. That's what your parents sacrificed for you to do nothing beyond the norm, nothing beyond the pigeons. So you want to run that by me again? Why you're doing right by your family, staying where you are? You're not. Grow up. Grow up and leave the nest. Stop making excuses. Stop dressing up cowardice as love and devotion. You can say, I am scared to goddamn death to take this leap. Girl, that's okay. We've got you. It's fine to be scared. Scared means you're trying something new. Fear. I have learned to repurpose fear, not as, oh, I shouldn't do this. It's, wait a minute. Am I afraid because this is genuinely not something that's good for me? Or am I nervous because I've never tried this before? Am I on a frontier here? Am I stepping into new territory? A new level of myself, and that's what's making me nervous? Then I keep going. Then I keep going. And if you don't know how to differentiate the two, it's probably because you've never tried. When you've heard that fear voice, you've always receded. What happens if you just go for it? Maybe something good happens, maybe something bad happens, but honey, if you don't do anything, nothing happens. And let me tell you something. I'm probably older than you by like 6 months. I, at this point now, have a lot of friends who it's clear, you know, life is underway, the blush of youth is fading. They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. They didn't leave their town. They didn't take a chance and go date. They didn't have the baby that they wanted to. They didn't go for that career. They just did what was expected of them because it was easy at the time. And you know what those people are? Let me list them for you. They're alcoholics. They're fat. They have health problems. They're miserable. They're so jealous. They are such haters. Sweetheart, I'd hate me too. Or, you know, the most evolved of them, you know what they are? They're just sad, girl. They're just so sad. It almost brings tears to my eyes to think about it. They're so sad because they know. They know that when other people took a leap and when other people took a chance, they didn't. They stayed safe and they stayed small and they stayed that way. Their life was not intentionally created. Their energy was used to create someone else's dreams, their boss, their family, their husband, not theirs. And at some point, it is too late. At some point, ships start to sail. At some point, you just put down too many roots to dig them back up again and start over. That is the only nightmare you need to be concerned about. Not moving and falling flat on your face and being broke in a big city. No. Because at least then you know. You have the data. Hey, I don't like New York. Okay, great. You have the data. The worst case scenario is you don't have any data because you don't try anything. Because you make excuses. It's too hard. I can't. Life is hard. Life is hard. What do you think it's supposed to be? Easy? Look at the people who have chosen the easy path. Look at them. Do you want their life? You don't. Even the rich kids, even the trust fund kids who have everything handed to them, they're not happy. We see this all the time. And like celebrity offspring, they end up overdosing or just going to jail. It's because they never tried anything. They never were tested. They never had to work for anything. That grit is the win. That's the happiness. That's the happiness. We don't want to be fed. We want to hunt. We're alphas. We're predators. This is what you're born to do. This is what you're born to do. And clearly, not everyone is. That's fine. Stop comparing yourself to those people. Stop looking at those people as how you should live life. You don't want their life. Stop moving how they move and thinking you're going to get a different outcome. You won't. You will get a different outcome by doing things differently, and it starts here. That's excuse number one. Let's keep going. All right, Shallon, you've convinced me. I have to leave. I have to move. Where do I go? I just pick a random place? Listen, I don't want to go to New York. It doesn't sound appealing. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to go to Montreal or wherever. Where do I go? Okay, that's fine. Start where you can start. If you don't have the guts or the money or whatever, if it's not feasible for you right now to move to a big city, to gain the truly elite connections that you want, what is the biggest city that is drivable near you? What is it? And if it's Tuscaloosa, Alabama, fine. That's what it is. Remember in the beginning, first video, I said you need to look at this like a job. You need to put the work into this as if this was your second job and you clocked out of your first one at 5 and you came home and you clocked into this one. That mentality is how I completely revamped my social life. That mentality is how I became a YouTuber. I told you in the first video about my first social revolution when I was 14. When I was like, I'm going to become one of the popular girls. Did I finish that story by telling you I was prom queen? And I was student council president. I actually started out as vice president, but we staged a coup. We impeached the president and I became the president. I've been like this my whole life. I just realized I had lipstick on my lip this whole time. I'm so sorry, you guys. That was my first social revolution. The second one was when I decided to ascend to the top of like the music scene, like the scene in New York City. It was in the emo days. It was Fall Out Boy. It was at the top of the food chain and My Chemical Romance. And I mean, just the Strokes and all of these like huge bands. And I'm like, that's where I want to go. I was brand new to New York. I think I was 22 and I'm like, I will be in that crowd. I will be in that crowd. I will know these people. I will be at the VMAs. I will be at the Grammys. And I was. Let me tell you what my schedule was like every day. By the way, I was writing a book. I would get up and I would go to work. I was an editor at FHM, was a men's magazine. I would work until 6. I would come home. I would eat dinner, like in bed. I would work on my book for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. I would go out at 9 p.m. I would stay out till 1. And I would get up and I would do the whole thing the next day. I was surviving on Adderall and skinny vanilla lattes. And I have never felt more alive in my life because I was chasing 3 things that mattered to me: my career in journalism, my first book, and my new social scene. Because that's where I would go. I would go to parties. I would go to events. I would go to concerts. And you know what, girl? I'd go alone. A lot of the times I'd go alone. But we're going to get to that as we keep running through these excuses. Just put that in your back pocket. Where was I going with this? Social revolution. You're going to have to think of it like a job. You're going to have to put your back into it. What you can invest into this, you will get a return on investment 100-fold of the effort you put in. You are going to have to make an effort. I've flown to cities to go to a party where I can network. I have driven an hour to Big Sky, the ski mountain outside of Bozeman, where my friends are skiing. I'm just in the lobby looking cute in a furry hat, typing or reading a book or something so that I can just chit chat with wealthy people and men and women who are coming through to ski. That is a good use of my time. I could doom scroll on my phone in my house all day long. That is not getting me any sort of return on investment. I have to put the effort into it. And look, maybe I don't meet anyone of value that day. I don't meet my new best friend or someone who can connect me to something. I don't meet the love of my life. You know what I've done? I practiced. What if Tom Brady or Travis Kelce was like, I'm not playing football unless it's the Super Bowl. Unless I know 20 million people are watching, I'm not even going to practice. He wouldn't be a football player. You practice when no one's looking. You practice when the stakes are low. That's how you become a professional level socializer. You work on your skills with the cashier at CVS. You chit chat with the guy making your coffee in the morning. You practice making eye contact. You practice being demure in how you hold yourself. You practice engaging conversations. Everywhere you go, you're on. You're on and you're practicing. And soon, it doesn't feel like you're on. The bottom line is that no one truly successful stays put. Whether that means they move towns or they move maybe industries or movement can mean you don't go to the same bars every single time. You don't dress in the same way. You are moving as a person. And if you're like, listen, I've already explored this town, then you need to actually move. I'm going to shoot you absolutely straight. How many celebrities stayed in their hometown and thought they were going to get famous? How many business owners stayed in their hometown and started a huge company? At some point, they have to branch out. How many people even stayed in their town to go to college and get an incredible education? Unless you grew up in Princeton, New Jersey, you probably had to take a chance. And you know what? If you're in this course, you're ready to take that chance. Don't tell yourself that you're not. There is something inside of you. And it's this devil on your shoulder. It's that crystal fear brain telling you, you can't leave. Where are you going to go? Anywhere I fucking want to, Crystal. Sit down. Sit down. All right. Now that we've tackled the topic of location, let's move on to excuse number 2. Second biggest one. Shallon, I don't have the money to run in these circles. Again, it depends on what you're looking for. If you are just looking for alpha females to be besties with in your town, money is not the factor here. I mean, listen, I don't want you mining the gutter and just the shitty dive bars at 2 a.m. and the drunks and the burnouts thinking these are going to be your new people. No, you do need to think of this as an investment. If you were starting a business, if you were going back to school, you would understand equipment costs money, workspace costs money, tuition costs money. This might cost you money as well. But as we have established, your social circle is the single most important thing in your life in terms of return on investment. You're second maybe to your education, but this is an education. And at this point in life, you can educate yourself so many ways. Online courses that are free, books, podcasts, YouTubers. There's a million things you can do to diversify the portfolio outside of like going to Oxford Business School or something like that. So yes, be prepared to spend a little bit to get a lot. But listen, do you know what rich people want? They're not concerned with, oh, well, how much money do they have? How much money do they make? The people who say that are actually the ones who don't make any money. They're the ones who are trying to pretend that they are elite and they belong. And you know what? You belong simply by being there. You belong simply if you believe that you belong. I always believe I belong. And I never have people be like, well, she's just a YouTuber. How much money does she make? It doesn't matter. What matters is what you bring to the table. And again, don't make the mistake of painting these elite people with a broad brush and thinking, well, the only thing I bring to the table is money. That's actually probably the most boring thing you can bring to the table. Because think about it. If they're well off and wealthy, it doesn't matter if that's what you bring. Think about what you do have going for you. Maybe you have amazing, amazing makeup skills. I don't, but maybe you do. Is that the chief thing you look for in the friends that you make? Like, no. What's your degree in? Do you only want to hang out with people who got that degree? No. I mean, you want people who maybe also went to college because you're more on the same playing field intellectually or experientially or whatever. You want someone who's like well-groomed. She doesn't have to do a wing the way you do. She doesn't have to have your major. You want them like in the sort of ecosystem that you understand. But what else are they bringing to the table? Are they warm? Are they friendly? Are they engaged? Are they fun? Are they gang for whatever? Are they down for new experiences? Are they asking intelligent questions? You want that from a friend, right? Guess what? So do rich people. We have to let go of this idea that there's like the rich, it's the rich, and they're these different animals. They're not. They're people. Celebrities are people. The reason I've had so many celebrity encounters is because I have never approached any of them as anything other than another person. Yeah, more people know who you are, Jared Leto. But you're still a person, and I'm going to talk to you like you're a person, because that's how I would want someone to talk to me. It's really not that complicated. The worst thing you can do is overthink these people or view them as others. They're not others, they're your people. I want you to start viewing people as others in the opposite direction. And it's weird that it's totally fine to be like, eat the rich, capitalism is bad, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but don't look at the poor. And when I say the poor, I don't mean like people in the slums of India who can't help themselves. You know, I don't mean that. I mean the like, what I consider to be the purposeful poor in America. People who are drinking too much, they blow off work, they get fired, they get DUIs, they get pregnant too much. To me, those people have no other reasonable outcome to their behavior than the station they're in. And they seek it out. They seek it out every single day. They seek it out generationally. They yay say it. And they're the ones who are like, oh, the rich, honey. No, they're not the problem. You're the problem. I am a through and through classist. Class is irrespective of age, race, religion, even education level, and job. I know plenty of classy nursing assistants. I mean, and I don't Those people are super educated, but that's the tie that binds. They're educated, they're ascending, they're passionate about something. Fuck yeah, girl. To me, you're on the same level as a countess. You have a rich kid who's doing nothing with his life. You're on the same level as the guy who can't keep a job on a construction crew. Because all you want to do is smoke and take pills and sleep in and fuck bitches. Okay, get out of my way. That's not the class we're after. So let's go back to all those things I was listing. Warm, engaged, fun, down for whatever. Do you know how far you can ride the wave of those behaviors before anyone even bothers to think about your bank balance? I don't. When I meet people in these elite circles, what I want is to talk to someone interesting and enthusiastic. Oh my God, you work in AI technology. Tell me about that. Does it freak you out? Do you wake up in the middle of the night kind of panicking like it's iRobot? I don't know anything about this. And by the way, I find AI like horrifying and disgusting, but I don't say that. I'm engaging. I'm warm. I want to be around someone who's like, yeah, I do wake up in the middle of the night and then I write an AI program that sings me to sleep. Wow, that's crazy. That's what you need to bring to the table. Not a certain purse, not a certain car. You need to bring engagement to the table. We're going to talk about this more in depth in the video about how to act in these circles. I'm going to go way into it. I will tell you literally the questions to ask, how to conduct yourself to ingratiate yourself to an elite class of people. But you might be saying, okay, that's great. I literally cannot afford the activities where I'm going to find these people. I can't. Let's go back to this investment thing. All right. I want you to take a real hard look at your finances and where you're pissing money away. Are you just like doom shopping on Amazon because you're sad? Stop it. Stop it. And I know it sounds cliche, like, well, if you stop buying your lattes, you could afford a house. Probably not, but maybe not a house. Well, listen, how much do you spend on Starbucks lattes a week? I can tell you I spend $60 or $70. If you put that money aside for 1 month, you absolutely could go out on several nice dinners to the elite steakhouse. And even if you just sat at the bar, got a shrimp cocktail and a Diet Coke, and you read a book and you put the vibe out, this is more accessible than you think. Here's the other option, because it's Evil Week. You lie. Let's say that you're kind of connected into one of these groups. A girl's like, oh my God, you should come to Soul Cycle with us on Sunday. Soul Cycle's what? $50 a class, like to work out? Oh my God. If you don't want to spend that, you can't afford to. You say, oh, shoot, I've got a yoga class across town at the same time. Hey, I'll zip down here. I think mine ends like 15 minutes before Soul Cycle does. I'll zip down here. Let's get a juice after. This has the added bonus of you saving your money. Still, you're yes-anding these plans. Yeah, let's do that and something else. And you look booked and busy. I used to do this, and sometimes I still do this, all the time with long dinners. I personally hate long dinners. I hate them. I get itchy. I just want to get up. I hate them. Ugh. But for a long time, I couldn't afford to go to very long, expensive dinners. And especially like I didn't drink for a really long time. In New York, I didn't drink wine. And everyone always wanted the wine. Let's go more wine. And I would end up having to like pay for it because we would split the bill evenly. And listen, this is a cardinal sin. You do not want to be the girl who's like, well, actually, Caitlin had 2 drinks, but Sophia only had 1. So she owes 10. No, I know. I love equality. I do. You cannot be that person. You cannot be that person. Okay. Consider this social tax. This is part of the return on investment. And if something really pisses you off that much, if you really don't want to be paying for everyone else's martinis when you had a Diet Coke, you don't go. And this is what you say instead. I have a Zoom with an investor. Something cool. I have something cool. Insert something cool. I have another dinner across town. I have a meeting for this charity that I'm on the board of. And these can be lies. These can be lies. You are not, however, this is just a side note. You don't lie about your history. We discussed this in a different video. Put a pin in that. You don't lie about where you came from. Oh, yes. No, my father, he's a duke. He's a Lord Lieutenant of his county. No, if your dad is a welder, your dad's a welder. That's amazing. You embrace that story. But again, we talk about this in a different video in more detail. You don't lie about who you are, but you can lie about what you're doing. You can lie about what you're doing. I just can't make it for dinner. How about I come and meet you guys for drinks? And then I'll just like grab an Uber so that I can make my dinner. Or, you know what? I'm just not going to be able to make it. I have another commitment, but I can be there by 8:30, so I can probably catch you guys for dessert. I can just pull up a table. No worries. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Then you can maybe cherry pick who you sit next to. This was a big trick of mine. I would go late to a dinner. I would survey who was there, who I wanted to sit next to, rather than like, ooh, this is just the musical chairs, and I got stuck next to like, the saddie, you know, the person who I didn't like or couldn't do anything for me. When I really wanted to be talking to someone else, I was able to do that. Plus, if you come a little late, you're the fresh breath of air, right? Everyone's like kind of talk to each other. The conversation might be still just like, hello, everyone. Your makeup's still fresh. Your perfume is still popping. You breeze in like a social white knight, here to save the day with some sparkling conversation. And the check comes, and even if you ordered one drink, people are like, oh, she ordered a drink. No, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. It's a nice little hack. Another money obstacle you guys point out, I don't have the wardrobe. Listen, girl, my mom says this all the time when I'm like, I don't know what to wear to this party. And she will always say, no one at this party has seen anything that you're wearing. No one at this event, no one on this trip, no one here, no one there, no one has, all these clothes are brand new to them. I'm like, okay, she saved me probably $100,000 in panic shopping by that motto. And she's so right. Nobody knows if you just pulled the tags off in the Uber, or if you've had this for 10 years, nobody knows. And even if they have, honey, nobody remembers. Nobody pays any attention to you. Think about the last time you had brunch with your girlfriends. What did everyone wear? And I mean everyone, head to toe. You don't know. Do you even remember what you wore? Exactly. As long as your clothes are clean, well-fitting, and classic, don't do cheap fabrics, don't do garish prints, don't do trends. Again, we talk about this much more in the video on how to present yourself externally to move in these circles. You're good. That concludes our part 1 of the obstacles that you might be facing mentally or logistically to level up, meet the right kind of people, and totally change your social scene. Next video, we get a deep dive into 2 more obstacles that might be in your way, from extroversion to mindset. All right, see you next time.